Ladies and gentlemen, SuckItUpUSA.com presents Suck It Up MMA Live. No excuses, no quit. With your hosts, positioned firmly in front of the control board, and out of the red corner, Tom McManus! Across the desk, and out of the blue corner, Larry the Professor Sheely!
Time now for MMA Live with the Professor Larry Sheely, owner of Jacksonville's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu School, right there on Atlantic Boulevard. Tom McManus, along with our special guest, Maurice Salmon, will be fighting this Friday night in the Art of Fighting event downtown at the Jacksonville Memorial Arena. Veterans Memorial Arena, going to be an awesome event, and Suck It Up is very proud to be a part of it and pumped up to have Maurice on the show. Larry, good afternoon.
Good seeing you, Tommy.
Back.
Welcome. I saw you this morning. It's always great to see you. I got to tell you, I feel better than I've felt in weeks because I'm in the room with two beasts.
I tell you
two beasts. Normally one, we have two today.
Well, you're one yourself, you know.
I'm just the old beast.
Well, you're on the Champions Tour, but that's good. There's nothing wrong with the Champions Tour.
That's right.
Whatsoever.
That's right,
Maurice Salmon, welcome to MMA Live and the Suck It Up Radio Network. How you doing, bud?
Good.
We've been talking for a few minutes, man. You seem like, just a down-to-earth guy who's chasing after a dream and willing to do whatever it takes to get there.
Absolutely.
Does that sum it up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity to pursue something that I've been wanting to do, that I love doing, and the Art of Fighting just gave me the venue to get it done.
Yeah,
and you've been how long you been at this now?
7 years. 7 years. The last 3 as a pro.
You're a former Vol.
Yes, sir.
University of Tennessee football badass. First running back, then safety. And then,
Absolutely.
Of course, you said you went to work for GE for a little bit?
Correct.
And then got back into some athletics, and look at you now, 36 years of age. You look like you're, 22.
Looks about 25 max, man.
Yeah, absolutely incredible, and you found your path.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so.
Good for you. Good for you. So you got a big event this Friday night at the Art of Fighting, the 170-pound class. And how many pro fights you have? This is your 5th fight, said?
This is my 4th pro.
Fourth pro fight.
Correct.
You get anxious, nervous, just waiting for it to come? What goes through your mind on a Tuesday afternoon as you're ready to do battle on Friday?
Well, previously I used to get nervous. I used to worry, wonder. Not worry, definitely not worry. You wonder what your opponent's doing, and you wonder how he's preparing and things like that. But this time I think I'm prepared, so it doesn't matter. I'm sure he's going to come to fight. I'm sure he's going to come with all of his bags and his tricks in his bag. But, at this point, it doesn't matter. I got a job to do.
It's all on you, which is great. That's what Suck It Up's all about. It's all
right,
on
man.
you.
Yes, sir.
You get to decide what kind of career, what kind of life you want to have. Sometimes you got to sacrifice to do it. Sometimes you got to work your freaking ass off to get there. But that's what you decide, and look at you now, man. Big venue, big crowd, and obviously a stone that a lot of you fighters need to take and make and win so you can move on and get bigger and not so much better, but bigger fights.
Absolutely. It's all about getting the right matchups and fighting the right guys that are going to catapult your career to wherever you want to go, whether it's the UFC or just to win the belt or chase after a couple big-time fights.
Yep.
But it's about fighting the right people in this business. So I think this is definitely a huge stepping stone for me. It's going to be something that's the fans won't be disappointed.
Good. As far as putting on a good show, does that go into the mindset? Hey, man, I really got to show my worth here tonight.
Absolutely. You want to do 2 things. When people are paying their hard-earned money, you want to make sure that you go out and you give them the best that you have. It's no different than when you're on the football field.
Right.
You go out and you give it everything you got, and at the end of the day, you look back and you say, okay, I don't have any worries about it because I gave it everything I had. So
right.
That's kind of it.
All right, so when I was playing ball, and sometimes I still do, because that little person inside my head that says, you got to keep challenging, keep going. But and music would always bring it out in me, but it was always that we're on the goal line. I could see it. It's playing out in my mind. We're on the goal line. It's fourth down. They're going to go for it. The running back comes through, and I just smash him, drive him into the ground, and stop him. It's over. What are you thinking? Flying knee, spinning back kick, rear naked choke. I mean, what's going on, Maurice?
Ground and pound.
Ground and pound.
Ground and
okay.
pound.
Get him on the ground and start pounding his head in.
Yeah. Mount, double fist, elbows, just breaking the guy's will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And his head.
Whatever I can get a hold of, man.
At the same time. What's it like to be on the have you been on the receiving end of those? No. Of a ground and pound?
I've had.
Knock on wood for you? I will.
Okay,
I will.
thanks.
There you go.
I had a guy. I fought a couple of tough guys in my career. So.
Sure.
I've had a guy, one guy that actually got me to the ground, but once we got there, I trust my jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So, that's the whole thing about Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, man. It's not just self-defense, it's competitive martial arts. It teaches you how to defend all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm a practitioner of it. So, I trust it. And if I'm on the ground, I'm very comfortable.
Absolutely.
Whether I'm on my back.
Absolutely. I find, Maurice, and you'll probably agree with this, I find with Gracie Jiu-Jitsu early on, when you're learning, you learn how not to lose, which is kind of backwards, right?
Yeah.
And then you learn to win by not, and which is back. We're used to win, but there's so much technique involved. And again, I want you to elaborate on this. That if you know and you're in good positions, you're not going to be worried.
Absolutely. Because one of the things that my professor teaches over at Gracie Baja South Jack,
Roberto, right?
Correct.
Cortero, good guy.
Yeah,
good guy.
Love him to death, man. Known him 23
good
years.
Guy.
So,
oh, nice.
One of the things that he teaches me is that you do this long enough, there's no place that you've never been on the mat. So, I buy into that concept, and if a guy's mounted me, or if I'm in a bad position, I always go back to thinking I've been here 100 times before. Mm-hmm. So there's no need to panic, and I just go back to the bag of tricks and try to figure out what's the easiest way to get out of a position and spend the least amount of energy, and get to a safe position, then go to a dominant position. That's
confidence by repetition. It's got to be, right? Because most people be freaking out. Like, how am I going to get out of this? You're flailing all over the place, and you see it. You guys, you're concentrated on your breathing. You try to withstand, try to defend, try to counter, waiting for him to get a little bit high on the chest. Yep. I think I was watching that. Was that with Koscheck the other night? He was getting a little high. Hendricks almost had him over when he was pounding him. It was really close, but then Koscheck regained it. It never changed. But you're always looking for that type of opportunity. You do it in a calm and collective way, man. It's very impressive. Why are you and why is everybody that I've interviewed on this show that's an MMA fighter, trainer, etc., why are you all humble? Every one of you. And it's great. It's great because I love it. I love the humble guy, the confident one, the one who my father said be aware of when you're inside the bar. Not the mouthy one. Mm-hmm. Be aware of the guy that's just minding his own business. That's not paying any attention to anything else. That's the guy you should be concerned with.
It's a mindset, really. It's the whole martial way. It's about martial arts is all about respect. You respect the guy that's training with you, and you don't put him down. You want to make sure that he's getting something out of training with you. You want to because first of all, everybody can be beaten. Anybody can be beaten. Absolutely, man. Anybody. And if you understand that, obviously the objective is to not be beaten. But if you understand that, then, you may mouth off to this guy, and then tomorrow you may get crushed by somebody else. Mm-hmm. So I've learned through trial and error that the best thing to do is just have a humble approach to just about anything you do in life, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, they work so daggone hard. They're probably too tired. I don't want to deal with this crap.
Not that. I didn't mean like you walk around, you're a bully. I just
not
mean
at all.
Your demeanors are very, very laid back, very very confident, but very humble. And I think those traits are great. Whether you're a successful MMA fighter, or successful person out there in the business world, just like, hey, look, this is what I do. This is who I am. And I'll give another, God rest my father's soul, is another one he said. He said, there's always someone tougher. Yeah. If you're walking around like you think you're the toughest, one day you're going to run into somebody. Guess what? You're going to find out you're not the toughest.
Absolutely.
And that's a good way to be. Maurice Salmon here on MMA Live in the Suck It Up Radio Network with Professor Larry Sheely and his Just STFU and Train t-shirt. I love it. Did you come up with that?
No, I didn't. I love BJJ.
Okay.
Ken Promola.
Oh, yeah.
Ken came on the show.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, so,
I like it.
He sent this recently.
In the world of texting, it fits perfect. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Try that one with your wife. And cook. I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
I'll let you try it.
No, I wouldn't. I couldn't do that. No doubt about it. All right, so the idea, Maurice, is to get him to the ground. What if it is a stand-up? Are you Muay Thai? Are you a lot of kicking? Just hands? And a little bit of everything. You said you had heavy hands, so that helps.
It's a fight, man, and that's how I always looked at it. Technique is one thing, but in the end, it's a fight. So if I can get my hands on them and get a piece of that chin, then that's ideal.
Look at the hands, Tom.
Yeah, no, I know.
Look at those hands. They're awesome. I don't want to get hit by those hands.
No, right.
If I can get a piece of the chin, if I can get it straight, I love the bang. So it's a fight, man, and whether it goes to the ground, I'm prepared. And if I can get the knockout standing up, that'd be ideal also.
Are you a striker with your feet too? Is that part of the game?
Yeah, I throw kicks. I train kickboxing. We train a little Muay Thai, work clinch work. So well-rounded. You got to be well-rounded. You got to be well-rounded to do this.
When do you decide to do the flying knee? I find that one. No, I mean it's got to be. I fly knee. Right? I mean, because, you're in the middle of it. It's not like you're planning it out, but all of a sudden, and it's amazing guys can jump so far away, to deliver that.
Right.
Devastating. And I can imagine the force, coming up, and I can only imagine, if I jump, not that I could jump anywhere, but if I could, I'd have some force behind a knee coming up. I could only imagine that'd be a tough shot to take.
You got to have all kinds of tricks in your bag. Like the Andy Pettit's run off the cage and kick upside the head for Ben Hendo.
That's beautiful.
You got to have back the John Jones back spinning elbows and stuff. You got to be willing to evolve. You have to be willing to evolve. So creativity is definitely a plus. I mean, you might have a guy that does a spinning kick from the floor for all I know, mule kick. So you got to be willing to try anything in that cage that you feel comfortable with doing and that you've practiced.
We often talk about MMA and obviously the growth. There is no cap, in my opinion. From what I'm seeing, there's no ceiling. The ceiling's so high you're never going to get there. It continues to grow vertical and horizontal with so many people. I love the fact that it really doesn't matter your size because you can be in your own weight class. If you're 135 pounds, you're not playing football. You're probably not playing basketball. You may play soccer. Right, you're going to wrestle, and then wrestling's over. So I think it's fantastic giving people opportunity. We've also been saying and truly believe this: the athleticism continues to grow, and guys like you who play different sports are going to get into it and be like, you know what, I'm a pretty good athlete. Maybe I wrestled a little bit in my background. I like the fight game. Maybe Mike Cheever. Remember Mike Cheever who played center for the Jags?
Okay.
You remember him at all?
Yes, sir.
Went to Georgia Tech. Came out in '96. Okay. So you guys may have played them at some point at Tennessee. I'm not sure. First center taken, but he said when we were up at the fights in Atlanta, he's like, T-Mac, if I didn't, he's got a real bad back. He's like, I think I'd like this. I think and I looked at him. I'm like, man, you're like a grizzly bear. I wouldn't have to want if he was skilled and everything because he's a really, really good athlete. But I think we're going to see that. The athletes are going to continue to evolve and get better and better in MMA.
Like you got guys like Michael Westbrook that are fighting pro now.
Yeah.
Mike Westbrook. What's the guy's name? The big guy that played defensive end down in Tampa Bay, Marcus Robinson was his last name.
Oh, I don't know.
He was on The Ultimate Fighter.
Okay.
He did the show.
Oh, wow. How'd he doing it?
He was on the show with Kimbo. He fought Matt Mitrione, and Matt Mitrione's a beast, man.
Okay.
Mitrione was a football player.
Yeah,
he
for
sure
Green
was.
Bay.
Yep.
Was it Green Bay or Minnesota? He's Green Bay. I think it was Green Bay.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about that too is most people that don't realize this, but most people would think football player automatic gonna rock in the MMA, and the one thing they don't realize is we wear helmets for a reason. So you never know a guy's chin.
Right.
And I think that's another great. Not that I don't promote fighting out in the street. There's too much of that. It leads to too much violence. We got to try to curtail that. Instead of fighting in the street, let's get them in the gym.
Come to the gym and train.
And then train. But you never know a guy's chin. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's another lesson. It doesn't matter how big they are. And I know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was formed learning from the professor so the littler guy could take on that bigger guy and defend or at least not get hurt by him. So, you just never know. And you guys already have the mentality, but it's a true mentality. It doesn't matter how big. I grew up in the era of the 80s. Steroid, lifting, how much you bench. Bigger was badder, and normally it was, but you always saw it. Guy was strong, muscles.
Right.
It's like the old, when you saw a guy with a tattoo, you're like, ooh, man, he's got a tattoo. He must have been in prison or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or with the Navy, it's got to be tough. Now tattoos are, everybody and their mother's got a tattoo.
My preacher has a tattoo.
Yeah, no, everybody. I have a couple myself.
And
the
strength, the really ironic thing about it nowadays, you don't know who trains. You don't know.
No, you don't.
You
really
could be
don't.
looking at a guy 140 pounds,
Yep.
and he could probably eat your lunch.
That'll give you Tommy John surgery.
Yeah,
in
you know what I
like
mean?
2 seconds. Clink.
you just don't know. You
No,
don't
you're
know.
right. You're right. And that's a, good way to be.
I got a question. Again, both you guys played football at high levels. Now you have made the transition from football, and now you're in the cage. How would you compare the game day, so to speak?
Oh, nice.
Of game day in football versus the game. Again, you got a team and you got you. Now you got your teams in the corner, of course.
Right.
But differentiate between the two.
Well, for one, I didn't go into football thinking that somebody's going to possibly knock me out.
Right.
That was one big thing. And then when you're in there, when you're in the cage, you're the only one in there. You are it.
Right.
We have coaches and we have guys that are on the side and a corner. But ultimately, whatever mistake you make, it's going to be seen. And when if you're tired, you can't take a play off. All of that, So for me, it starts in training camp. I mean, back in the day playing football, if I took a play off, 2 plays off, if I didn't push as hard, coach would yell at me. But I knew I had 10 other guys that had my back. Yeah. And I think we talked about that a little bit, Tom. Those other 10 other guys, and if they do their job well, it's a rush to one ball. 11 guys are chasing one ball, so it's only going to be one person get to him.
Yeah.
But MMA is a little bit different because you got one guy that's, if one guy's in better condition than another guy, it's going to show.
Gotcha.
And you don't want to be on the receiving end of whatever the guy starts dishing out.
It always makes me wonder. You see the Ultimate Fighter show, and some guys on the show, if they, they didn't try to make weight, they're eating on. I mean, what are you thinking to not prepare yourself in a situation like this? Just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you're putting it all online. You can get your head ripped off. Yeah. Why wouldn't you do the very best? Doesn't that just blow your mind when you see that?
Maturity.
Yeah.
I've learned that everybody that's a great athlete and everybody that gets in the gym and everybody that's got physical talent they're not willing to apply themselves to the point to where they can get to the next level. I've seen a lot of guys that have been, I don't want to use the word spoon-fed, but I will say I've seen a lot of guys that just relied on talent and physical attributes alone and didn't put in the time, and they hit that wall and couldn't figure out what was going on. You got to put the time in. You got to mentally focus and realize that you have bad days and good days, and one good day doesn't make you the world champion.
Yeah, and that sport will humble you real quick.
Well, right? You think about in the gym, you a guy who learns one submission.
Yeah.
One submission. If he out executes you in the gym on that one thing,
right,
you just lost. So you can't, like you said, can't take a play off.
No, right. There's no play away.
No,
right,
where you're like, oh, play away.
No, they won't see
Someone
me.
else has got him.
Exactly.
right. It's somebody else's turn, right?
Hey, the other safety, get over there. It's your job, man.
Yep.
I'll clean up if you miss. But
you don't have 25 seconds, 30 seconds. Put your hands on your knees and breathe hard either, right?
No, you sure
in
don't.
between plays. So.
All right, so 170 class. Are you going to stay there? You think is that the class that Maurice Salmon will compete in all throughout your career? What do you think?
It's funny because I've heard this question before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, what do you know?
This time, hanging out at 170 is good, but like I told you earlier, I've always been the smallest guy. So technique and just drive. But I've entertained. I talked to my coach last night, Professor, and we this weight cut has been really good to me. And with training full time and doing it around the clock, my body takes off. So the weight is harder to keep on now.
Okay.
So with being in condition, 155 may be an option down the road.
All right. Cool.
If it'll get us where we're trying to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
It's amazing. How about, you're not irritable at all, huh? Or are you just playing good for the radio? Are you pissed off inside? Are you hungry?
He's hungry.
Are you hungry and mean right now,
Nancy
Maurice?
downstairs was just taunting him with all this
Oh,
food.
yeah. Why'd you take him down?
I forgot to apologize. I'm like, man, Maurice, I'm sorry.
We won't mention that anymore. But you're pretty You're not here to pull it all, or
know,
are you?
Man, this whole the thing is now to stay calm. To be honest with you,
Okay.
just stay calm. So man, in my iPod, I'm listening to Beethoven. I'm listening to just the most
G.
mellow. Yeah, man. Just
Luther. Get some Luther going.
Now, see, he can't do that either for a while.
See?
You don't need
women weaken legs. Mickey said it a long time ago. That's true. I thank you for
No Luther, boy.
Hey,
Yo, Adrian, I'm serious.
no, nothing too heavy, man. Just trying to, because you don't want to be wound up too tight.
Right. Yeah.
That adrenaline, man. I tell you, when it gets going, I've had one of my coaches even told me a while back. He was like, "Man, if you keep going at the rate you're going, we're gonna have to lock you up a week before the fight."
Yeah.
And like I was talking to you guys earlier, this camp, every camp that I've had has had a little adversity. So this camp was no different. A lot of different things that we really had to work on to get better at and fight to get through this time. So now I've been training for this one since December, man.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to roll.
Cool.
And he's had over 40 jiu-jitsu tournaments?
Yeah.
I mean, he's
40.
been
Yeah,
there,
he's
and
been there,
he's
yeah.
put himself in the mix a
Yeah.
lot.
That's great.
And, and they get the football. You're a competitive guy. You've competed your whole life, basically, right?
Absolutely.
And so I adrenaline for the newer guys is the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, remember the first jiu-jitsu tournament you did? You came off the mat, your hands are like this. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But,
Nervous.
again, that's maturity to the nerves, the maturity factor in these guys who've really put it in like Mo has is that's why he's so calm. I bet you 5 years ago, it's a different person.
Totally different.
Biting
Yeah.
your nails,
He's just
chopping at the bit, stopping your
Saying,
feet.
"Who wants some? Come get some." Just
some
on that
practice.
kick,
Yeah,
I
that's
need a
beautiful.
workout. How about your training leading up? Will you train today?
I will. I
You
will. I
Okay.
will.
How about Wednesday, Thursday? No, Friday, of course not. But Thursday, take off? Or are you going for something like?
No, your training's light this week, though, right? It's
Well,
not,
that's right. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't mean heavy training, but
What
doing
we'll
some
do
light
is we'll
training?
keep the lungs open, man. We'll do some things to keep the lungs wide open, make sure they can. Now it's just a matter of staying sharp with everything, making sure everything's nice and crisp.
Good deal.
Making sure the technique's on point, making sure that we strategize, make sure the game plans. We understand the game plan and put myself in the best position to execute it. So we go over the technique and then working up a little bit of sweat won't hurt because I'm still dropping.
No,
weight.
right, sure. What time is weigh-in?
5 to 9, 5 p.m. to 9.
Tomorrow, Thursday night.
Thursday.
Okay.
We ought to head up there and get some interviews.
And then what do you?
get some interviews
Yeah,
Thursday, I think?
yeah.
I think it'd be good.
I got a Thursday night. We'll talk after
Talk.
the
All
year,
right,
yeah.
cool,
But maybe
cool.
we'll be able to do that.
Good deal.
Maurice Salmon here. Hey, we do have people on the line. If you want to call in, say hi to Maurice, feel free to do so. 904-241-5878. And check us out on Facebook, our Suck It Up Facebook page and our Suck It Up MMA Facebook page. And please like us out there. We appreciate it.
Very good. I want to give a shout out for his gym,
Yes.
Gracie Baja South.
Okay.
Jags.
Correct.
Gracie Baja South. Jags.
Where's that at?
It's over on Phillips Highway, right?
Phillips and Bay Meadows.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Roberto Cortero's been in the business a long time, knows what he's doing. Ex-Marine, right?
Correct.
Right,
Correct.
he's a tough
nice.
guy, good
Jeez.
guy,
Call
does
in.
it right.
Needs to call in. He's
Yeah.
listening.
Calling
Needs to
in,
call
Yeah,
Roberto.
please.
Let's talk,
That would
man.
be great.
And
Absolutely.
these guys are class acts, so
Yeah.
I like the way they do things. They do it right.
So since you're at the 170 class now, who's the? You expect GSP to keep the crown? Who did we see at 145? That was phenomenal.
Jose Aldo.
No, it was McDonald or something. Remember GSP was holding.
He was 70.
Oh, he was 70. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Wait, I thought GSP's 170.
Right.
Yeah,
But they won't fight right
They won't
now.
fight
That's one
each
of
other.
those Johns.
They're on the same team. Yeah, no,
Who's
I
that?
know.
Who's that?
Roy McDonald.
McDonald. Yeah.
Rory. Oh,
Rory.
Man, he
He's
was
a
a
beast,
beast.
man.
That kid is
He's-
man. He was. I remember he fought. You remember that fight with him and Carlos Condit?
Yes.
He beat Condit for 2 rounds.
Beat him down,
And
man.
Condit's the interim UFC champ right now. He's the one fighting GSP next.
Wow.
He owned him.
But yeah. Until that last, Greg Jackson got in his face that last round and says, "Look, you're losing."
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to a couple of guys about this. I still talk about it, but granted, Rory McDonald's a tough guy. He's got a big future ahead of him. He's young, but I've never seen somebody just change their level like I watched Carlos Condit do it in that fight. I mean,
He had no choice, right?
He's
Yes.
a class.
He had no
He's a class.
choice.
yes,
What about Diaz? I like that.
I like Nate. I like Nate and Nick. I like them, man.
Hey, did you give the number for the people to call in?
Yeah, 241-5870. Here's Nate before the fight. You're like, I'm from the street, bump you. I mean, whatever. I'm ready to go. That's great stuff. And
That is good stuff,
I tell
man.
you what, the They're badass. All those guys are. I mean, you gotta
All these
be.
guys, you're standing next
I
to
know,
one, man.
You gotta be if you're gonna do that. I mean, you know, playing ball is one thing, but doing that's a totally different other. As we spoke, 904-241-5878. If you want to call in, I don't. You know, I'm not like these
I know
other
you got
shows
some
that
fellas
force
out here.
calls.
Come on, it's local.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, this is
What
rare we
about
take
fighting in
calls.
front of the
We don't take
hometown crowd, man? How do you feel about that?
It's a good thing, man.
Yeah.
Finally get a chance to come back and you know, your family gets to come out. Nobody's called in yet?
No. I think the phone lines are plugged in. Let me see if we got a.
Yeah,
we're
we
locked
got it.
and
We're
loaded.
live. We're
Come
live.
on, come on.
Come on,
There
don't
you
leave our
go.
boy hanging here, fellas.
Yeah, that's all right. No worries. No worries.
Now he's getting
whatsoever.
pissed.
Yeah, man.
You know what they say though? Like 8% of your audience will call in.
Wow.
Yeah, so you just never know. And a lot of people don't call. They're afraid to call. They get nervous. I don't know why.
I'm sure some people are listening that want
There you go. Maybe
want to be heard on the radio.
I'd like to hear
text
from
Maurice
Roberto
if-
just for
Yeah.
friends, man. Hadn't talked to him in a
Text
while.
Maurice if you're having trouble calling in, but I don't think you should be. But nonetheless, 904-241-5878. All right, so Condit's a class in 170. Who are some of the guys in 155 that
Frankie Edgar.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's the man.
Okay.
Frankie, and he's
Yep.
fighting Ben Henderson again coming up. In,
Yeah,
when is
yeah.
that? Is
Ben
that-
Henderson, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
a-
tough.
It's a puzzle.
He's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think right
Yeah.
now he's still a puzzle.
Ben trains under John Crouch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. That's
got-
right. We saw him outside the Fighters Hotel
Right. Sure did.
in Atlanta. He was in a suit, Benson was.
Yeah, with tennis shoes.
With tennis
Remember that?
shoes, absolutely.
Well, you never know when you have to run fast in a suit, you know?
Exactly. Your feet condition to, you ever feel when you're kicking, does that ever? It's got to hurt, sting.
A buddy of mine told me one thing a while ago. He was like, this is before my first fight. He says, man, I'm going to tell you, the only thing that hurts is leg kicks. I was like, what are you talking about, man? When you block them, they hurt. When you throw them, they hurt. Usually that's why you don't see a lot of guys throwing a lot of leg kicks towards the later rounds because it takes its toll. You got to use those legs to move around. You got to use those feet to plant and pivot. And
It's fatiguing
Yeah,
versus
they-
throwing a punch,
They
right?
do. They do. They really do, man. They really do.
I was watching in that Koscheck deal, Hendricks kept kneeing him in the thigh.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, how many times? I mean, it was like 8 times in a row. It felt like I was a kid again. My brothers give me Charlie horses.
Frogging. You remember getting frogged? Did y'all call it getting frogged?
No, it was that
I'm old.
punched.
Yeah, punch like we frog because the muscle.
We
would
call
knot
it
up.
Charlie horse. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
Charlie
muscle
horse
knot
will
up.
get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't like my
My brothers
for that.
took advantage of me, but I got him back.
I was about to say, I
got
can't
him
imagine
back.
that one.
Yeah, I heard him a couple. Not physically. My one brother would punch you right in the face. He was a son of a bitch. But he's one of my best friends now. But Mike, he didn't
Just
care.
punch you right in
He
the
felt
face.
that left. It was over. But
Yeah, Chris,
904-241-5878. There you go for MMA Live here on the Suck It Up.
This is good
Radio Network.
having Mo in the
Yeah,
studio.
man,
It's
he's
good.
great.
We get a lot of call-ins mainly because of people across the country, but I like this.
Yeah,
Get to
having a local.
Yeah, get a local
Yep.
guy, and now I like this morning's call. Talked about this venue or this fight.
Yeah.
It's like the AAA. You know, we're talking about it's at a very, very high level. So the guys who do well here,
Yeah.
you never
You
know.
move up.
You never
You
know.
move
This could
up.
be a great springboard to take your career even further. Wouldn't you agree, Mo?
Absolutely. It's at this point, it's the biggest fight of my career.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cool.
That's great.
Hopefully he'll come prepared.
Yeah.
He'll come prepared.
Or hopefully not. Because it doesn't matter anyway, Maurice.
Kind of, yeah. Just get,
Carve
like you said,
'em
go
up,
do
baby.
what you got to do.
Yep.
Now, in terms of your fight plan, and you can't give it away, but are you more going into a fight more of a see what he's going to do the first round, or you just or do you have your mind made up, or how do you approach that?
Well, for this one, I've already got my mind made up.
Okay, good. Don't tell us.
Yeah, we've trained hard.
Good.
And conditioning is the best it's ever been. So whether it goes 1 or 3, it's going to be a barn. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Great.
It's going to be exciting.
What's the best way for you to get in condition?
Well, this time it was a little bit different. I added some things. I added the weights. Hadn't added the weights into the play since football.
Okay.
So I added the weights, and that part alone, plus got a running partner, got in Clyde Gant. he's pushed me on the road. We've been getting in road work, a lot more road work now.
Nice.
Interval type stuff.
Yeah, man. And then just the hard MMA training that we do over at Gracie Barra South Jackson.
Right.
So those things and recovery. Now my recovery is better than it's ever been, man. I recover quicker than I was when I was 25 years old.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How about diet? What
Strict diet, man.
Yep.
It's bad because I love so much food, man. I love sweets and cookies and stuff.
Oh goodness.
He was drooling downstairs.
Yeah,
I bet, man.
I was telling
Jeez,
a friend
Larry,
of
you
mine
brought him
today.
right past the devil.
I didn't think, man. I'm sorry.
The devil's like, hey, buddy, over here. Yo.
I did apologize.
That was.
I got my drink and we came upstairs quick.
But there's a lot of foods that I don't eat during out of camp that eventually you start just weaning out of your diet. So I stick to the proteins, heavy amount of proteins, good carbs, clean carbs, making sure that I don't eat the wrong foods late at night, cutting out carbs at a certain time of the day, water intake high. No sodas, things that are going to chew up the insides. But like I said, man, I still like cookies and cake.
Yeah. People don't realize the sugar in soda it can be a toxin.
Sure.
People drink a ton of that stuff. I mean, a ton. We were just
It's
down
addicted, man.
We were
It's
just down at
addictive.
SeaWorld. I mean, it was blazing hot, 95.
Wow.
People are drinking Coca-Cola. I'm like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah. I mean, even back in the day, the football days. Even then, this time, you don't drink Coke on the sidelines, man.
No.
You got Gatorade, things that are going to hydrate you.
Right.
Those things will make you cramp up, man. That
Yeah.
sugar will give you that quick spurt of energy, and then your heart will get
On
up.
occasion, it's good. I like eating with a little soda now and again.
Man, I haven't had a
or
soda.
beer. Can you
I
drink
think-
beers?
Man,
Not when you're training.
Nah.
You gotta cut it. You gotta go clean, total clean, don't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much one of those guys that just because my nutrition has put me on a strict diet, and
Yeah.
I've stuck to it since.
Yeah, good. That's fantastic.
But
Larry's on a strict diet.
No.
You're not?
No.
You don't eat carbs late at night, do you?
Yeah.
So do I. That
is
you
my-
got to do what you got to do. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's part of the deal.
That's the worst thing is the
You know?
nighttime, man.
You know,
I'm
when I-
great
when-
during the day, then I'm by myself. I'm like,
I was
cookies sound good now, right?
Yeah,
Rob?
no kid,
Yeah,
no
man.
kid. I was out of football for 2 full years, and I was bartending, so I was messing around. I worked out in that, but I wasn't in any kind of shape. But when I got a call to try out for the Jags, I had 2 months to get in shape. Moved to Florida with my parents, and man, I cut everything out. And you have to.
Yes.
I mean, that's what you have to do. And if you don't, again, it's like sucking up. You put it back on you, man. Well, why didn't you?
Right.
Well, I couldn't get over the craving. What?
It's,
Yeah, you got this opportunity. You couldn't get over the craving. What's wrong with you? Let's go.
and it's also a mental part of the process. If you can make sacrifices and cut stuff out and decide like I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. It homes in. Like we have a saying. I don't want to be the guy that fires off 100 buckshots. I want to be able to put in a sniper rifle. 100 rounds of Uzis. I want to be able to put in a sniper rifle shot. And in order to be that sniper, you have to be good at what you do.
Yeah.
And sometimes in order to be good at what you do, you have to only focus on one thing.
Right.
Dominant thoughts, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic, Maurice. So you go in Friday night. You're about 5th to last. Fight of your life. Fucking awesome.
Suck it up, baby.
It is. Well,
Yeah.
you already have been. You're living
Yes,
a
he
life. And now you're going to go in and bear the fruits of your labor. Which is I'm not trying to get you fired. It's Tuesday. I wish it was Friday.
Yeah.
Fight,
You give him a pep talk, huh?
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
like, Maurice, go kick his like you told Alan, rip his face off, Alan. I was like, yeah, rip his face off, Alan.
He about did, didn't he? Belcher?
Yeah. Oh man, I was very surprised with
So
that.
was I.
And he beat him in his own game.
Yes.
He even got caught in a couple leg locks.
Yeah, and he just calm as a cucumber, man.
Yeah.
He was so calm. That was impressive.
Man,
And this is a guy who can rip your leg off your body.
and with guys like that, man, that have fought to get back to the top, that were at one point one of the league, one of the most talked about, then kind of fell off a little bit, then to get back to the top, man.
Yeah, after that injury, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I had the first time in probably since FSU won the national championship, I was running around the house just.
Well,
couldn't-
yeah.
My wife was like, "What is going on?" I woke the
That's
little boy
great.
up. He comes out, "What's going on, man?" But
Well,
it
and he's
was
your
fun.
friend, too.
Yeah,
You know,
he's a good
so
guy.
obviously-
Good guys, man. You know what's so cool about this sport, and I talk about it all the time, is the people you meet. Here, the chances of me and you knowing each other or me and you knowing each other, it's this sport. has brought some really cool people together.
Absolutely.
And you find that now there's some, just like anything else, there's some bad eggs, but I'd say 99% of the people you meet in this game are just pretty darn good people.
Well, I told you up in Atlanta, everyone you asked about who do you like, Bones Jones or Rashad Evans, like. Gosh, they're such good guys. I like both of them. I'm all Easton said it best. Like, I'm gonna feel happy for the winner and sad for the loser.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, now granted, when it's go time, and that's your competitor and that's the enemy and that. But afterward, I mean, it's amazing to me. Okay, and I gotta credit. I don't know if you credit Dana White or who you credit, but you hug somebody after they just kick the living shit out of you. I mean, you're like, hey, nice, good. But and I get it, it's a sport. But if you take it down to layman's terms or experience, you're like, man, some guy just beat the crap out of you, submitted you, whatever, and now you're like, hey. Hug it out. I mean, it's amazing. I think it's great. It's phenomenal.
It's like when you shake hands after a football game. But
yeah, but it's more like, yeah. Unless you like the guy, then you're like, hey, all right. But and I tell you what, you don't go shake the hand of the guy that knocked you on your ass.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever shaking his freaking hand.
I guarantee you.
I was going to the guy that I knocked him on his ass. I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to him. Get away from me.
Yeah, we're back at the Jones-Evans fight. Who did you pick in that fight?
Oh, jeez. I wanted the underdog.
You wanted.
I wanted Rashad.
Well, you picked the underdog.
And he.
But you know what?
He didn't go. He should have tried to go inside, man. I don't know what he was doing. And granted, maybe you could speak on that, Maurice. You go in thinking, here I go. This is what I'm going to do. But then something happens. Like, man, I ain't gonna. Either you feel like it's not going to work. Or you just, I don't know, you forget about it, you get caught up in it.
From a guy who can
I'm telling you, that bone
room.
right here hurt him bad. They kept messing with that. And you could tell he didn't like.
If I could hit Maurice from here,
right,
that gives me the advantage, and that's pretty much what Jones does, right, Mo?
Yeah, and there's an old saying that Mike Tyson had, and I mean I love watching him. He said everybody's got a game plan until they get punched in the mouth.
In the face.
Yeah. So I think Rashad went in with a game plan, and I think John's reach, his athleticism, and the fact that he knew Rashad so well, and they game planned. Greg Jackson basically brought this guy to the table, brought this guy to the UFC, and helped him get to where he was at. So I mean, it's that has a lot to do with it. When you know a guy inside and out, that is in your head. Don't think it's not.
And then he shuts you down like early on, like Jones did. Then you could see it on Evans' face. Hey, did y'all see that Dominic Cruz is out, tore an ACL?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah. So that's I don't know what they're going to do to bring that division about. Have you heard anything, Mo?
I did read that they're thinking about doing Faber for an interim.
Interim. Oh, okay. Who would they put? Who would they match him against?
Man, I heard Andy Pettit was going down in weight class.
Oh yeah, they've been wanting him to.
Yeah, but I think he'd have to go down to 45 before he could get to 35.
Because he's a 55. Oh wow, that's a big cut.
And
for a tall kid.
And he's a really big 55.
Yeah.
I mean, just like Henderson, he's a big 55. And then you got Kenny Florian's always trying to get into the championship.
Yeah, he's that tough kid,
man. He's been trying for a long time, hadn't he?
Yeah.
He's one of your Boston boys, man.
Was he first
Ultimate Fighter?
He was fighting at 185. Remember that?
Right.
Wasn't that 185?
Right. That's right.
He went up like 2 weight classes to get on there. What a tough kid, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's tough, talented.
A lot of guys move up in class.
As you get older, some guys do. I think that's one of the things with Jones. Everybody wants him to go up in weight class because he's probably going to clean out the light heavyweight division. But, you go up in weight class, you just like in boxing, you run a higher factor, guys are hitting harder, and you're the small guy now. You're no longer the big guy, you're the small guy. So, guys that do it, I tip my hats off to them. Man,
like Evander, right? Always a smaller heavyweight, and he did it for. By the way, he wants to fight one of the Klitschko's.
Evander got hit too many
Sell
times.
the house.
Yeah.
Just sell it.
Out,
take a loss. Declare bankruptcy. Forget about it.
Cash in on some
that would be terrible.
Yeah, do something.
Man.
It's like when Mark Spitz wanted to make a return in swimming. Remember, that's just swimming.
Yeah.
His best, back in the day.
Yeah.
No one swims. I mean, high school kids are breaking that now. So remember he tried to get back in the Olympics. I thought that's terrible.
Yeah.
He tried to get someone to punch you in the head.
It's tough to
give it up.
Absolutely.
You were talking about that this morning, Tommy, about the depression in the sports.
Yeah.
See, you guys are talking about from a different angle. Y'all, some people get depressed because they, left the sport. I'm depressed because I never got to you guys' levels. Now, is that legal to? I won't ever offer
Well,
myself.
not that you'd be depressed,
if
but I can
anyone ever
understand
finds
you
me
wanting
dead, I've
that.
told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it looks like I did it. It wasn't me, so
I just don't have sympathy for you become depressed because the cheers stop. That doesn't make sense to me. Oh, they do stop. I know. I've lived it. You're gonna live it one day. They do.
Right.
But so you're an alpha male. You suck it up and figure it out. You don't you feel bad? It's funny when I do my motivational speaking. I severed a tendon underneath my ankle, and I always say to the crowd, when I bring it up, I'm like, should you feel sorry for me because my career ended at age 29 at the prime of my life?
Wow.
Should I feel sorry for myself? I'm 42 now. Should I carry that with me?
No.
Hell no.
No.
Right.
No.
So that's what I know. I didn't mean that depression happens in everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a fighter or not, whatever can happen. But if you're depressed because you're no longer a superstar, you need to not only STFU, but you got to suck it up as well. That's the way I look at it.
And you gotta have a plan B.
You got to have a plan B. Yeah.
You hear it all the time, man. You're not going to be a physical specimen for your entire life. So you got to have something that you're looking back on, and once these days are gone, you can even use those days to move into your next venture. But you got to have a backup plan, man. I know that I'm not going to be able to climb this out of a lock cage for the rest of my days. I know I'm not going to be able to get on the mat and do jiu-jitsu at a high level for the rest of my days. So, I'm trying to form my life around those things, and when it's time to walk away, I have some other plans that I want to go.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
and you mentioned your background was engineering,
correct?
Mechanical.
Yeah. It's funny because a friend of mine, 3 other guys that I worked with, we actually started an engineering firm back in December. So that's
Nice.
picked up. That's
Good for
taken
you,
off.
man.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a good fallback. Huh? Good for you.
Heck yeah. Where'd you do your schooling? Oh, at Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
So they had a good engineering program up
One
there?
of the best. One of the best.
Oh, really?
One of the best.
I knew Illinois. I'm from Chicago, so I knew
Okay.
Illinois had a great engineering. But
One of the
Tennessee's
best.
up there as well.
Yeah,
Good for you.
It's probably like you got Georgia Tech,
Uh-huh.
one, which is probably 1A plus, and then you got
Jeez.
1A minus, a couple of.
So you're smart and a meathead all in the same box. That's pretty impressive, right?
I got 2 of them, man. Come on now.
Yeah.
Smart guys.
Exactly right. Well, Maurice, it's been great, man. Yeah. Wish you nothing but the best. And we're recording this so you can tell all your friends to come check it out on the site.
Okay.
And look forward to seeing you Friday night, man.
Okay.
God bless you.
Before we get out of here, I just want to give a couple of shouts to a couple of my sponsors. a couple of
Absolutely.
people
Oh,
that
sure. Go
support
ahead.
Do it.
I want to thank Junior Seafood off North Main Street. I want to thank Jerry Hubbard down at Put It on Canvas over here. She does all my printing, and she takes care of me on that level. I want to thank Dr. Juan Luis Jorge over at the
Dr.
MRI.
Juan,
Yes,
wonderful
sir.
man.
Yes,
Good
sir.
man.
And the guys over at Old School Electric Tattoos, they've been very supportive.
Good.
And everybody else has just been along on this venture with me and this journey. So
Good. Well,
That's fantastic,
that's good.
man. You can pump up whoever you need to,
And
man.
they're supporting a good man. So thanks for coming in,
Absolutely.
Maurice. Let me shake your hand, brother.
Yeah, no doubt, Maurice. God bless you. Good luck. Go get him.
thank you, sir.
I'll grab a quote from the professor, rip his face off. All right?
Thanks, guys.
That'll be fun.
Good,
Thank
brother.
you. Maurice Salmon, ladies and gentlemen, right here on MMA Live.
This has been a production of SuckItUpUSA.com and EIGProductions.com. Heard exclusively on the Suck It Up Radio Network.